So what happens on the next one? White Base makes its way towards Luna 2, an asteroid that was retrofitted into what used to be a facility that held building materials for the colonies before becoming a base of operations for the Earth Federation. The crew keeps everything running as Captain Paulo instructs on how to proceed when they finally make it to Luna 2 as Bright assumes command. Although everyone is relieved for now, the Musai is still on their tail, barely outside White Base's radar range. Like a predator stalking its prey. Except, so to speak, this predator has to refang itself. Remember, Char needs to replace the Zakos he's lost back on Side 7, to which he contacts Admiral Dozel on the status of his resupply request. How he will receive said resupply irritates him, as the Musai will dock with a Papua-class ship. Admiral Dozel explains that due to the length of the war, Zeon's resources are strained, hence the obsolete-class ship providing what he needs. Although he continues with the mission, Char stands aggravated that what he has to work with is not enough to contend with the Gundam. Back on White Base, Amuro works on the Gundam, much to Frau Bo's concern. He's still dealing with what happened before, right? Pretty much. In the next scene, White Base detects another Zeon ship within range. However, it heads towards the Musai rather to them. Bright fears that it is another battleship arriving to assist Char, while Mirai Yashima, a civilian with experience piloting ships similar to White Base, assumes that it is a supply ship. This sparks a debate on whether to continue to Luna 2 or to attack both Zeon ships while they're vulnerable. Quite the dilemma. Get away while they still can, or strike while the iron is hot. What do they decide? After taking a vote, White Base decides to attack both Zeon ships. Back to Char, the Musai docks with the resupply ship, but the process taking a lot of time due to the resupply ship being practically obsolete. Not to mention that the resupply process is a little complicated to pull off, correct? Correct. Both Amuro and Ryu Jose, a barely trained core fighter pilot, heads towards the site where the Musai's resupply is taking place. Ryu wants to fight the enemy at a higher angle, but Amuro stops him from doing so due to the fact that the site of the Musai's resupply currently faces the sun. I get it. The light of the sun would have affected his line of sight while alerting the enemy to his presence. Exactly. This not only establishes Amuro's growing intuition for battle, but how he says it establishes a growing bond between him and Ryu. He follows Amuro's lead as the Gundam pilot flies around the resupply site to launch a sneak attack. This tactic proves itself very effective in dealing a series of blows at the Zeon forces that, moments ago, placed them in a desperate situation. Sounds like some serious payback. So the attack work? At first. One thing I forgot to mention is that both Zeon ships had to run on low amounts of power in order for the resupply to start. Despite the effectiveness of the sneak attack, the captain of the resupply ship remained committed to his responsibilities. Sounds like a valiant kind of captain. Why work with the bad guys? Yet another element of what set Gundam apart. Back to the plot. The Musai fights back with missiles while re-energizing its particle cannons, which takes a lot of time. Char eventually moves out in his personal Zaku as Amuro and Ryu continue to take advantage of the brightness of the sun to hide in plain but blinding sight. Char, however, catches on to this tactic as he flies towards the sun to discover the Gundam firing at both ships. As Ryu continues the attack on the resupply ship, both mobile suits fight again, with the battle being a repeat of their first encounter. But this time, Char is determined to destroy the Gundam and is almost successful until White Base arrives to assist Amuro and Ryu. Although the ship is slow to retaliate, I assume it's due to how green the crew is. Pretty much. What they saw confirms Mirai's guess. However, this did not stop Char from wanting to destroy the Gundam. The speed and ferocity of Char's attacks reignites Amuro's PTSD. Like from before, Char's skills as a Zaku pilot proves how much Amuro relies on the Gundam's technology to survive the battle. Right on the head. Said technology is also why the Gundam is a lot more durable than Char realized. However, this wasn't the only reason he wanted to end the fight. He knew he couldn't leave the Musai under his command to its fate. So the resupply process still went on. Yes, but at a snail's pace. Back on White Base, Hayato asks Bright that he, along with Kai, operate the gun tank while the enemy is still distracted with Ryu. Because the Musai finally generates the energy needed to operate their particle cannon to fire at White Base, Bright approves. Despite the Musai regaining its original firepower, the gun tank is successful in delivering the final blows to the supply ship. This prompts the captain to take matters into his own hands as he pilots an older model Zaku to unload everything before his ship goes down in flames. Ryu sees the Zakus and attempts to destroy them, but Char intervenes in time. As the soldiers within the Musai retrieve the supplies, the captain takes the opportunity to take revenge for both his ship and the men who died under his command, as well as give Char and those under his command the time to retrieve the supplies.
Is he crazy?
No, angry. Sadly, he perishes in the attempt. As Amuro retreats from the battle, Char acknowledges that both the Gundam and the Trojan horse are superior in terms of technology. However, he holds out some hope for victory due to how sloppy both the pilot of the Gundam and the crew of the Trojan horse acted in a real battle. That was intense. Again, that's the point. The episode ends on a semi-positive note as the mood of the crew of White Base ranged from relief to cautiously optimistic as the path to Luna 2 became less fraught with danger. Even though, from my perspective, the scene of Bright lecturing Amuro to be a better pilot proves to be a little tiresome. Ryu stepping up to Amuro's defense was a welcome change of pace. And he does so by informing Bright that it was his decisions that allowed White Base to deal a major blow to the Zeon forces under Char's command. The episode ends with Frau Bo and Haro, a small robot of Amuro's creation, praising him for saving everybody on White Base.
A cute robot sidekick. Some things never change.
Don't expect it to stick around.
Oh no, what happens next?
You're going to have to watch the anime to find out. And you can, as this anime is available on Crunchyroll, as well as any streaming service that offers Crunchyroll as a channel.
So, just Crunchyroll then?
Yeah, pretty much.
Alright, well, if you excuse me, I got an anime to watch.
Oh, nah, please. Don't let me stop you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I really appreciate your support in helping the channel grow.